Today I'm giving a full 5 out of 5 to a short-haul business in Europe, and the unlikely airline that pulled this off is Turkish Airlines. Calling short-haul business in Europe perfect may sound surprising. Normally, European business is basically an economy seat with slightly more space and service. Just last year I flew KLM, Air France, Iberia and ITA with the same verdict, totally disappointing. But this flight by Turkish was truly different, and I had no doubts to give the highest score. Turkish Airlines, in my view, are one of the most underrated airlines in the industry, still living in the shadows of Emirates and Qatar. I flew recently on their rare Turkaflot A330 with a suite-style business class. Not without flaws, but I was impressed enough to give it a 5-. And now Turkish treated me to this perfect short haul, which gives hope that flying within Europe could be an exciting experience too, from the airport and lounge to plane, food and service. So let's explore together this Istanbul to Milan flight on Turkish Airlines A330, and by the end of it you can tell me if you agree with my verdict. Aviation viewers often want to jump to cabin and food, and most of the time this makes sense. But there is more to flight experience. It all starts with the airport and the lounge. This is where Turkish Airlines truly deliver, like a perfect appetizer to a great meal. Turkish business check-in area feels like a small city within the airport. It immediately sends a vibe of a class, style and grandeur. Compared to that, many business zones in European airports feel shy, like my recent experience with KLM Sky Priority in Amsterdam. It's almost a lounge by itself, with lots of check-in desks and a huge seating area. Nothing short of impressive, and starts setting a mood that there is a great journey ahead. The lounge almost seamlessly connects you to security and immigration. Using fast-track lanes, you get through them in no time. And then you step into the main departure hall, which never stops to impress me. I keep comparing it to Mexico City Airport. 2 megacities and 2 major emerging economies, but so massively different experience. While Mexico City Airport feels like a site of some post-apocalyptic movie, the vibe of Istanbul Airport is Las Vegas meets Milan's Via Monte Napoleone kind of feeling. A massive place full of neon lights and a lineup of luxury stores which all work hard to overdo each other in trying to impress you. And once you are done with Louis Vuittons, Pradas and Gucci's of this world, you are transferred to another world. It's an old bazaar, full of Turkish sweets, nuts, dried fruits and all possible handicrafts. This is the place where you never feel that you came to airport too early. Rather wish you had an extra hour to roam through it. Most airports are just a waiting room, but here it's a city, a luxury mall and oriental bazaar all in one. The airport is so impressive that I almost forget that I still have a lounge to check. Turkish got 2 very similar lounges, Miles and Smiles to the left and Business to the right. Miles and Smiles typically gets more crowded as Turkish is quite generous on its frequent flyer statuses, plus you get All-Star Alliance Gold crowds, so I had to Business. And this is another aha moment. The lounge is just amazing. You're greeted by a fortepiano which somehow plays itself. I know people fly to space these days, but still beats me how they make the keys move. From the entrance you get to the dining area. I'm not sure I have seen so many live cooking stations in any of the lounges. Here they cook everything right in front of you. Pastries, soups, grilled meats, garnishes. Even if you are not hungry, it's impossible not to get seduced by the looks and all the smell. Further down there is something which one could call salad bar, only that this would be an insult. It's a massive station with all possible vegetables, greens, cheeses and of course Turkish mezes, small appetizers which are distant cousins of Spanish tapas. I'm managing to resist all those temptations for the time being. I'm tested one more time by Simit stand, a signature Turkish bread similar to bagel, just better. And finally I make my way to tea and sweet station. Today I'm here for baklava. I love extra rich and strong Turkish tea. There is a whole ritual around it too. First you pour the tea and then you add water, deciding how much strength you can hold. And then the baklava, fresh, juicy and delicious. There should be thousands of calories in it, but who cares at this moment? And this is just probably half of this fantastic lounge. One day I should make another video not about the flight but just about this lounge. This lounge by itself make it worth flying Turkish Airlines, but let's still see what we get on the plane. Thinking about the plane reminds me that I'm still here to take a flight. With a sigh of sadness, I leave this culinary paradise and head to the gate. One thing that you need to be aware of Istanbul Airport is that it's huge and walking distances could be brutal. Being the size of Heathrow, JFK or Los Angeles airports by passenger traffic, it's a single terminal airport. This gives you an idea how much you need to walk from one side to another. Well, let's be positive and think of it as a way to build up an appetite before the flight. It takes me 15 minutes of brisk walk and I'm at the gate. In front of me today is a rather short 2.5-hour flight on Airbus A330-300. It's a long-time workhorse of Turkish Airlines. They got more than 60 of them, but they are already being gradually replaced by A350s and Dreamliners. My today's plane has 40 seats in business with 222 configuration and goes under Type 33S within Turkish fleet. Let's see what we got here. Here we are. We got an older recovery recliner seat without direct aisle access for all seats. One may tell nothing impressive. Well, what matters here is a perspective. This is a short haul where every other airline in Europe got a narrow body and an infamous Euro business. Same economy seat that identifies itself as business with the help of curtain separator. Suddenly Turkish recliner and A330 widebody doesn't look that bad any longer, right? The seat is chunky and the leather seems a bit worn out, but once you get into it, it feels very comfy. There is a built-in footrest, wide armrests, decent padding, and generally good level of space with 20 inches of seat width. There are also generous 52 inches of legroom. I didn't have any problem stretching my legs. You can think about it as a lazy boy of aviation. It's not going to win any aesthetic awards, but it will make you feel good. Seat controls are mechanical and fairly basic. Recline, footrest and lumbar support. Not going to blow your imagination, but remember, this is European short haul. The service starts with welcome drink, a sour cherry juice, one of the signature drinks of Turkish Airlines. There are still more things to explore about this seat, but my focus now switches to menu. Turkish Airlines consistently win Best Business Class Catering awards for a number of years. Their long-haul food is amazing, but this is short-haul. I wonder if they made any shortcuts here. Let's see. For starters, there is a proper menu. Just recently I flew on Air China where instead of having the menu, they tell you the menu. Turkish gives a nice menu. The first thing you see is that they use a lot of traditional ingredients from different regions of the country. On my recent Iberia flight, I was disappointed to see how sterile was the menu. Not even a hint that you fly Spanish airline. It's very different here. You can sense that Turkish is proud about its roots. There is only one starter, but 3 choices for main course: kebab, grilled chicken and braised artichokes. Also a cheese selection, breads and homemade fig mousse for dessert. Turkish food is prepared by Do&Co, whom I would call the best catering company in the world. Vienna-based but with Turkish roots, Do&Co has been partnering with Turkish Airlines for years and is definitely a driving force behind their food excellence. Choices are done, we are now ready for the takeoff. You can see that the cabin is not picture perfect, but there is nothing that you couldn't fix with a good attitude and a light foot kick. We get a pushback and our A330 starts taxiing. This does take time. The airport is huge and taxiways are long. If I put together airport walking and runway taxiing together, I'm sure this could be half of a flight time by itself. As we are navigating through this mega airport, I'm thinking that Turkish found really smart way to use those a bit old-fashioned A330s. Instead of grounding them, making very expensive retrofits, or offering suboptimal experience on mid-haul, they put them to use on dense short-haul routes, creating a much better than expected experience. And suddenly you don't mind the bit worn-out seats or some minor flaws, as you get a level of space and comfort no other airline can provide on short-haul in Europe. Really smart. It's a bright day and takeoff views are amazing. The airport is far outside the city, and when flying west you fly away from Istanbul, so no Bosphorus and no city views today. But instead we get great views of the Turkish coast and turquoise waters of Black Sea. Not sure what kind of deal Turkish got with the Black Sea, but it looked great and delivered good 10 minutes of picturesque views before we got too high. All the airport walking and expectations from Do&Co made me really hungry. Luckily, Turkish didn't make me wait too long for the food. Wow! It's all as described in the menu: Mediterranean prawn salad starter, selection of cheeses, a small bowl of olive oil, marinated tomatoes and white cheese, crisp bread bun and chocolate mousse. But the way it's presented makes you feel you look at the picture of some culinary magazine. The focus on details and the perfection of food presentation is amazing, and the taste totally follows the looks. I literally leave nothing behind, picking every crumb and licking every drop of the sauce. Fantastic. I feel so impressed that for a moment forget that this was only the starter. And here comes the main course, which takes it to another level. A delicious Adana kebab where the meat, sauce, grilled pepper and even rice are just perfect. The kebab follows the path of the starter and totally disappears in my stomach without a grain of rice left. To polish the lunch I go for the Turkish tea again, and I'm delighted to see that they got those signature tulip-shaped glasses that bring a lot of character. Such a little thing, but it gives an experience rather than hot beverage. And yes, it's Instagram ready, one of those subtle things that says, I was going places without actually saying a word. I feel almost ashamed now for my earlier thoughts that Turkish could compromise on food on a short flight. My lunch was perfectly delicious and could easily beat many of my long-haul meals on other airlines. Done with the food and I'm back to exploring my seat. I'm not expecting anything like bedding and pajamas here, but there is still more. In-flight entertainment comes first. At first glance we get nothing, but seeing headphones gives you a hint that it's not true. Finally I find it. It's hidden in the armrest and not very obvious to find unless you know what you look for. The screen seems to be a spiritual brother of the seat, a bit retro and chunky looking, not the best definition, but still perfectly fine for 2-3 hour flight. The content is great though, it's exactly the same content that you get on a long-haul flight, so the only challenge you have here is to pick something that you will be able to finish before you land. The headphones themselves are tucked in a seat pocket in front of me. The plastic bag doesn't send the good vibes. It's clearly not a Denon set you get on a long haul. But having a closer look, things are better than they seem to be. Here we got headphones from Audio-Technica, a very solid Japanese manufacturer, more professional than consumer. We got their entry-level model, but it's still way better than what I had on Lufthansa and doesn't even compare with China Eastern. What else? There isn't seat power supply, but from what I could figure out, it's only USB Type-A. You better charge your laptop before the flight. There are also two strange looking ports which look like they came all the way from the 90s, even if this plane is only 10 years old. And finally there is a small cushion which was waiting for us already at the seat, and the crew is also happy to give you a blanket if you may need one. It's not a long flight, so few episodes of sitcom after the lunch and we are starting the descent to Milan, which is the time to make a verdict. There is probably a dozen things that I could scrutinize on this flight and critique Turkish. A bit old school business cabin, a bit worn out seats, in-flight entertainment system with a small screen, limited power supply options. But before going into all this, it's important to remember one simple thing. It's a short-haul flight. This is where on all other European airlines the only thing in business that says business is a price. Otherwise it's just the same economy seat, a sandwich and a curtain. As long as you keep this in mind, then what you get on board of this Turkish A330 is clearly best in class. But it starts even before the flight. Turkish really makes an effort to give you a premium experience right from the airport. From a classy check-in area to priority security and immigration lanes to a mind-blowing lounge which pampers you like a royalty. And then comes on-board experience. True, it's an older cabin, but you get lots of leg space and a comfy large seat. And the food seals the deal. This is where Turkish shines. The quality of the food and its presentation here beats what many airlines serve on the long haul. I confidently give Turkish 5 out of 5 for this short-haul business experience and quietly wish that Lufthansa or Air France could have something which at least remotely resembles this on their European routes. Meanwhile, the only way to experience good business flight in Europe seems to be going to Istanbul. Great experience with Turkish and definitely keen to keep flying with them further.